So today I'm really excited to show you in this three-part series how to remove your celestial pattern from your Pocket Moon loom and how to actually finish it. And so usually we like to think about how we're going to finish our project before we start it. And so I'm just going to admit that I didn't really think about that. And so I was so excited about the possibilities and obviously the cuteness of the pattern that I just started to bead away. And then it dawned on me, oh, how am I going to finish this? So you're probably wondering, well, how did I even get to this point? There is a part 1 and a part 2 in this three-part series. In part 1, I show you how to actually warp this small loom. And in part 2, I show you how to bead the pattern, which, by the way, is 20, let's see, what do we have? We have 20 beads across. And I'll just be honest with you, watch part 2 because it's a real learning experience where if you're not used to having so many beads on your needle and so many warps, it was a really good lesson of how to get that first row to stay. It was like trying to train a puppy. It was a very interesting thing. I'm sure that my very special guest and actually the designer of this pattern, Danielle Wickes, is probably going to have a little trick up her sleeve that maybe she will share with us. I did kind of have a visual in my mind, and I'm wondering if she and I are thinking the same thing. So I'm super excited about that. So in addition to this small loom, specifically the Pocket Moon Loom, I also used Wildfire, and I used the color blue. You could certainly use like a 1G, or what you'll want to do too is probably match whatever color palette you're working with. And then with the purchase of the Pocket Moon Loom, you got a pattern, and you can see that I marked mine up. So I put 1 through 20 up here at the top, and I put 1 through 18 on the side because it really helped me to follow my pattern. I also ended up picking some specific colors, and I wrote out those colors over here to the coordinating A, B, and C. Now, this pattern leaves the color freedom for you to choose. Basically, we went purple, gold, beige. You can mix it up and use whatever colors you have. These are Toho size 8 beads that we are working with. And if you are interested, the beads that I used, okay, this is a gorgeous galvanized rose gold, super yummy, a light beige, and the transparent rainbow teal, which you can see, let's see here. I used most of that. So for the sky, that's the color you're going to end up using the most of, with the beige being next. And then I barely touched my rose gold for all of the stars. Now, these colors are on the homepage of jewelloom.com. So I do have some in stock if you want to buy them. Again, they're Toho 80 beads. And this is my color palette. But again, you can totally use whichever one you want. I also want to let you know, let me show you the loom when it's not warped and beaded. This is what it looks like. So we have the beading grid. So these are your little beading teeth right here. They're very close to each other so that they accommodate the smaller seed beads, excuse me, like the 11-Os and like the 8-Os. And then you have your wonderful little notches up here where you're going to tie off. We've also got them on the bottom, makes life really easy. And then the teeth basically are wider. So, you can always play around and use a wider warping material as well. It's just going to end up laying on the teeth because, as you can see, these are super tiny. We've got 2.75 going across, 3 1/4 coming down. So it's the perfect little size for a precious little project. And that's why I named it the Pocket Moon Loom. I will give you a sneak peek at the mama. There was a mama. So, whoa, she doesn't even fit into the Here we go. This is the original Moon Goddess loom, and she has a 5 across by 5 down beading area. If you do go with this loom, I am going to go ahead and make sure that you have the pattern with it as well. But the special and how we've been teaching is with the Pocket Moon Loom. This was our gratitude offer. Gratitude is still going strong. And thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your orders. It's just been such a blessing, and so grateful to Danielle, as usual, for making such a fabulous beaded pattern for us. So without further ado, I am going to bring myself up and Danielle, Miss Danielle, and there I am. Hi, so good to see you. I miss you.
Hi, Jules. I missed you too.
I know, it's like, I was trying to think when the last time, I know, well, every month we talk because we birthed a new era of Creative Soul. Yep. And everyone is loving it. And we've been doing the seed bead edition of the Creative Soul box. And it like, I can't even keep it in stock. It's like, it goes really, really quick. And I think we only have like 5 subscriptions left. So like, if you're not a subscriber to the Creative Soul, then you're not guaranteed to get one of those kits. So, you know, something to think about. You don't have to. I'm just telling you the details. So you don't get upset if you really wanted one. So yeah, so it's really funny. Stephanie accidentally bought 2, and she's going to see if her granddaughter wants to learn on that. So awesome. Very good. Okay. So Danielle, thank you for designing this very precious seed bead pattern. I knew right away when, you know, I birthed the Pocket Moon Loom, I was like, you know, we really need to give the buyer, the person, the Jewel Loom community member, we need to give them something to make. And right away, I went to you and I said, do you think you can take, you know, the idea of the artwork and, you know, translate that somehow into a pattern, and let's do ADOs, you know, so that we can actually get it done. And you were so accommodating. I love mine. I don't even want to take it off. It's so pretty.
It's gorgeous.
So, right? I just, yeah, I loved how you kept the colors neutral, like in the sense of purple, gold, beige. Like, knock your socks off with whatever. You need 3 different colors: the moon, the sky, and the stars, and they could be whatever you want. And so I know that you have your color variation. I was so excited to make my project. I didn't think about finishing it, which I'm always preaching. I'm like, know how you're going to finish it before you start it, you know? And then I did the same thing. And so while I was back east, I was like reaching out to you, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Danielle, do you have ideas? Because I
you.
Yeah, and I knew you would. So I appreciate you so much. I know the entire community does. And so I'm just going to let you take over. And can I tell you something? Your tip a couple of weeks ago, and I do believe it was on the earring loom. Okay. Which, yes, you talked about counting your warps face down like this when the warps are on the solid wood. Girl, you know how easy that makes it to count your warps? Oh, yay. I was like, I was super, I use that like for myself. I was like, oh, wait a minute, Danielle taught me that and taught everybody, and I'm going to do that. And I was like, oh, it is so much easier.
Awesome. I'm glad that helped. Yeah. Sometimes with this many warps, it's tough, right?
Yeah. So the other thing that I want your input on, so I don't know if you watched part 2, but in part 2, I started beading, and I'm not going to lie, trying to do 20 beads across kicked my butt. But you know, it dawned on me afterwards that perhaps I could have, even with the needle, maybe if I just went under, over, and then I opened up the warps. Do you think that would have helped me get that first row up there better? What did you do?
Yeah. You know, it's definitely when you have that many beads, it's a struggle no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
The only thing that really helps is because you know some people will knot to the side, and
Yeah.
that stops the beads from going any further to if you're right-handed to the left.
Yeah.
So what I did just temporarily was I brought the weft thread above the leftmost thread just for a second, just while I was doing the feeding.
Okay.
And then I just made sure and brought it right back under before I did the overpass.
Okay. Yeah, because I know you start a little different than I do, but I do believe if my memory serves me, I did actually I did. I did start it the way that you start it. But yeah, you'll have to watch it. You'll have to just
I'll check it
go fast forward 20 minutes, and that's where all the pain and suffering comes in. But you know what? Also, it was a great learning opportunity for not only myself, but I think the viewer to like understand that that first row with all those beads could be slightly more fun, you know.
It's challenging to do a first row with 20 beads. I mean,
Yeah,
no matter what you're doing, you're gonna probably at least have to, you know, use your fingernail to like pick a warp or two over some beads. Maybe
I
two.
did. I did all your little tricks, girl.
Maybe
I
you're
was
still out while you're doing it.
yeah, yeah, it finally worked out, but it was funny. I was like, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna edit. I'm just like I want people to know, like, okay, first row can be a little funky, but you'll get there. So very good.
For
Okay,
sure.
really quick, I do want to let the Canadian folks know, the Canadian members, like, unfortunately, there is a big strike going on in Canada, and so you know, USPS is not delivering, and UPS is charging like, and FedEx, like the shipping is just like off the charts crazy.
They raised their
So,
prices
what's
for
that?
Canada. They raised their prices for Canada. I haven't checked. So
I just feel like I don't know. I can't tell you that they raise their prices, but I can tell you that when my Canadian people are telling me that the option is just like insane. There's Wendy is dying to get the earring looms, and I was like, we have to wait because it's just
yeah.
you can't pay that much money for shipping. I'm not letting you pay that much money. So it'll all work out. And, you know, that's why I'm going to keep the pocket loom in stock, by the way. And yeah, so it's all good. It'll all work out. And so are the beads with a gratitude offer? No, they're not with them, but you could buy them separately. The beaded pattern is with the pocket loom. Yeah, but the beads are separate. So, all right, Danielle, I'm going to let you take it over.
Okay.
And teach me because I got to get this bad boy off of my loom.
All right. Well, let me know. I had not settled completely on what it would become yet. I have
Okay.
three ideas, and
Okay.
they're all different, but we could talk through how to do all of them, and then I could demo them. Yeah.
I love that. No, let's do that because I and also just as a side note, not that this is what we're doing, but I mentioned to Danielle earlier that would that not make like repetitively, like if you did this pattern on one of the larger looms and you did a cuff, yeah,
It would be stunning. It would be super
ridiculously stunning.
and
So
you could go down to 11/0.
I
And
could,
that yeah, and this loom is combed great for 11/0 as well.
yes,
You could do 11/0 and you'd have a little smaller pattern, which could be repeated over and over as a bracelet,
okay,
or it would be earrings because it's smaller.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. You know, I think that my original thought was that it would be like a really cool pendant. You know, I
Yeah.
kind of visualized like some loops, and then I was like, okay, well, Neely has that really beautiful teal blue, ice blue, silver
Yeah.
silk that can be, you know, and you have it. Yeah.
I don't have the teal, but I have some colors behind me. Oh,
Yeah.
I should have brought
Yeah.
it.
That's kind of like what I thought would be really cool. Or, you know, like if people sometimes they have extra chains or
Yeah.
cords, you could do something cool. But tell me tell me. Tell me your ideas.
So here's mine.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
one thought that I had, in fact, the first thought I had was purse charm. Because charms are
Oh,
so trend right now, and you could put a big bead and then a little clip, and you could put it on a quick link, you know, or something like that.
I
And
love that. Okay. Okay. So we got
that's
two different color palettes.
I loved your idea of a pendant.
Yeah, no, that's
So that
but
would
I
be
love
very, very
okay,
good to do. And we could show that to you because it would just be creating a little chain, right?
okay.
On either side, and it could be worn long. I feel like this would be a long pendant, and you could even do some fringe. We did something like that together on an earring once. That looked like
Yes, that would be so
um,
hot. And since they're 8-ohs, we can get into that 8-oh very easily to do the
mhm.
fringe and not stress like about breaking a bead or, whatever that case may be. So awesome idea. Awesome.
Yeah. And then your idea for the cuff was also brilliant. A couple ways you could do the cuff.
I
You
want
could
to,
rip the pattern out on a larger loom, or if you wanted to use this loom, finish it off of this one,
yeah,
and then do some herringbone from either side and a little bit smaller. That would just because this would probably cover the entire top of your wrist, I think.
yeah, I think so.
And so if you did a little herringbone band around the back, it would just be at the back of your wrist, and you could either button closure that or so that's another way.
Oh,
And
that'd
then
be hot.
last but
That'd
not
be
least, you
really
could
cool.
become an ornament for your tree.
Oh my gosh. What?
So I mean, like there's things
I
and
love that.
there are different ways that you could. So we could pick a fave
Yeah.
and make
Okay.
one.
I don't know. Do we have what's getting everybody excited in the chat? So we've got ornament, um we've got the pendant idea. Well, I mean, what are you set up to do? What's going to be most easy for you to do?
I think they're all equally easy. Some of them will take longer to show completion. Like for example, doing the herringbone band coming out from the
Yeah.
sides it's super easy. I could show starting it and then show finishing it on a video or something.
I
The
think
chain with stringing,
yeah.
so it's stringing. The
Let's
little
save
loop.
the cuff idea because I think that's like a whole other ball game.
We could do that as a class too, like a separate project. And
Yeah, I think so.
that technique can be used for any project. So you could just
Okay.
get the technique in there and then just go from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I think so. So I see a purse chain charm. I see ornament.
Yeah, and instructions for purse charm and ornament could be the same. It's placement. So for an ornament, I kind of pictured placement in the center.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
if you're going to do a purse charm, one thought I had was, would it be cool to suspend it like that as a purse charm? So the loop.
Absolutely. I would see it at an angle. I would see that angle.
So that was the vibe I got, but it would be the same type of little loop. I'm thinking just a little mini herringbone loop that kind of folds on itself, nice and strong, easy to reinforce. And then you could, put that anywhere on any of these edges.
Yeah. So we've got, now we just went 3 to 2. So we got 3 ornaments, 2 purse charms.
And I feel like those are like together. That technique
You feel like you could demo and be like, it could be either or.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
Roll up my sleeves. Here we go. Very cool. Oh, and I think I have some quick links with me. They're not required, but Beadalon has these like 25 millimeter hoops. Have you heard of those? You could always just yeah, they look like, let me get one really quick. I'm holding the wrong camera. They look like that.
Okay.
Like at the craft store or even just in your junk drawer at home, you probably have a ring keychain.
Okay.
That's an idea, but not required. If you have one and you want to use it, it just depends like how you're going to attach it to your purse. If you wanted to get one of those big swivels, you can get one of those really big like lobster claw swivels. There's like a bunch of things in like macrame world that would work for this, but so many things.
Okay. All right.
Well, do you want to
go down to the table then? Joan, do you want to get rid of me or however we need to do this? There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So our first little trick here is to get it off of the loom.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, and it's actually you guys are going to be bored because I've done it a bunch of times for you, but it never hurts to see it again.
Yeah.
You're going to see it with a lot of warps this time. So it's been a little crazy, almost as crazy as our pouch was that we did. Okay. I believe, how many warps did that one have? I forgot already.
Oh gosh, yeah.
A lot. Yeah. It had a lot. So I did my knot originally.
Okay, you just clipped the top knot on the top left.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though it looks like the bottom, that's actually your top left.
Yeah, what I did when I warped it was I had the knot tied here, and then I did trim the tail of that knot because I knew I wasn't going to need it.
Okay, so I'm going to cut.
It's one just that one side.
Just the one
where we
side.
did our knot. Yeah.
All right. I need to get a little light in here. I can't see.
And that will free your warp that is on in this, holding it in the right orientation here.
Okay.
It's going to free the warp that's on your leftmost side, just here at the top.
Okay.
And then from there, what I usually do is I just take my thumbnail and I just pick each of these free. That works on the earring loom. And
yeah,
so
I don't know. Is it going to work on this loom?
Yeah, I'm going to see. I'm hoping it will. It's going to be a little tricky on the first one. But as you get them off, I think it's going to get easier. Okay. But I hadn't thought of that until just now, believe it or not. I do have a backup plan if that doesn't work. Let me free my bead. In this case, because it was odd count, we also have another knot here on the bottom.
Okay.
And it's okay to free that one as well.
Okay, so
maybe that will help us get it loose.
So you're going to free the bottom?
Mm-hmm. So now this one's free too.
And see if that like loosens it up.
And it should loosen it a little bit. My tension was really, really tight. Yours might not be as tight as mine was.
No, mine's tight because I'm a warper, man.
So I might actually just use some pliers, but I'm going to be super gentle about it because I want to take care of my loom.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're doing. Let me get my flats and see if I can do the same.
I think it will help if you grab both at the same time and then just kind of give that a pull like that. And now I've got one free, so that's going to help a lot.
Oh my gosh, that sound is not pleasant, friend. That sound scared me, Mama.
Sorry. You might have put it in the door because one of my kids is coming to get a Lego.
Okay.
That might be what you heard, but you could have been hearing this too.
Oh, no, it's me. I hear it. I hear him snapping. Oh, God. Oh,
well, you know what? My thread actually just broke, so we're going to go with our plan B.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Let's go ahead and trim it.
Oh, where are we going to trim?
Let's go ahead and just trim as close as we can because we want to make these as long as we can down here at the bottom.
Okay.
And I'm just going to show you how to weave these in.
Okay.
Oops. But yeah, on the earring loom, they're a little shorter, so they're a little easier to get free.
Oh, well, interesting.
And that said, I think it'll still work.
Okay. Hey, well, this is the old school way, right? Like we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't
have you already cut them? Only want to cut one side, so the top or the bottom.
Okay.
So just cut one side.
Yeah.
That way we can at least reduce by half the number that
we have to pull or that we have to weave back in.
Yeah. So if you just cut one side. And so for me,
will you please? Well, yeah, there you go. I was going to say, will you show your bottom?
Yeah. So my bottom, I still have loops.
Okay, cool.
And at the top, I have free ones.
Okay.
And that's going to be okay. I was a little worried. I was kind of hoping it was going to be a little looser, but I went crazy with my tension.
I feel you.
Aggressive with it yesterday. So far, so good. I got that ready. So we're going to need to ignore this edge one because it is alone. It's the warp strand that's running this whole side. We're going to have to weave that one in.
Okay.
These are our wefts. We'll just leave those over here. But we should be able to pull all the others up.
Okay.
And so I'm going to start with these two. So see these two right here, which is the leftmost and then the one right in from there.
Yep.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my pliers just to give me something to grip with. Hopefully they'll be strong enough to pull.
And you're pulling away from you.
Yeah, and they're going to be really tight at first because that side warp is always quite tight. So I actually found that pulling one at a time was easier. So see what I'm doing? I'm just kind of going one, and one. And that made my loop there at the bottom just go right there.
Okay.
So this is going to work pretty good. And so now we have a lot more here at the top to weave in. That's going to make it a little easier because they're a little short for weaving in at this length. You would need like a short sharp needle, but that's going to work pretty good. All right, so I'm going to do that same thing again with the next ones. So the next ones being the third and the fourth warps that are coming in there. So let's just pull those. Yeah, I'm not having good time getting them to move together. So I'm actually going to pull them independently.
Yeah, I'm pulling very slow and independently.
Here we go. So there's my first 4. So that's what's happening there. It's like half magic trick. Sakaya says Danielle's magic trick. But we're just doing just going to get those bottom loops to come up. There we go.
Yeah.
And you know what other crazy idea?
Every other warp that has been cut into.
And actually, here's an idea I wish I'd had earlier. That would actually be really cool. Is if we did the loose ones on the bottom, you could just add beads and turn them into fringe.
Sure could. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Okay. Now I need to make another one because that would be so cute. I wish I thought of that. Oh, and if you were using fiber, like something you could fray.
Yeah.
It's going to be a purse charm, right? So now oh, hang on, steady on. Here's a great idea. What if it was braided cord and we did the looming just normal, like, but then the bottom here, you just like let it all fray out.
Oh, that'd be really hot.
That'd be so cool. See, that's a problem with me is I get too many ideas. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull that one a little bit. How's yours going?
Can I ask a question? Just
yeah.
You're saying like, if we use cord and we can let it fray at the bottom, instead of using cord as the warps because we want that tight thing, you know how you have the loops at the bottom before you pull the loop, to tighten the loops against the bottom. Can you feed some cord through that, or would that be too much stress?
Oh my goodness! No, that would be amazing. Like for each of these loops, you could lark's knot a more like interesting kind of like multicolor braided cord or something like that, or tassel cord. You could lark's knot it to that loop and then tighten that loop up, and that would be so cool. Oh wow, Joan, that's amazing.
Whoops.
Okay, we need to do another version of that so we can show that.
Joan, can you just bring my overhead up so they could see mine? I was trying to do that, but okay. So here's my bottom. So I pulled up all of my loops, correct? And then this was actually beading thread from warping that I warped back. There's my side, if I'm correct. There's a side. And then this was the original. It's hard to see. And then this is that far one. So I think I'm good. I mean, like, yeah, right?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, so there's me.
Yay.
There's me. Okay, Joan, sorry. You could get rid of me.
I think I'm almost done with pulling mine up as well.
Okay.
And just don't tighten that one last one. Okay. So
yeah, I noticed you have to like really look at the bottom and make sure that, you've gotten it tight enough.
I feel like I want to just do a little more on that one. Let's go to there.
I just want to finish it and then hold it. It's so pretty and it feels so yummy.
So many beautiful things it can become. I'm going to grab another needle really quick. Let's see. I'm going to find one of those. And let's get another plier. I'm going to get some chain nose pliers and just flatten my ends. And let's start with the leftmost strand here. So that's this one right here.
Yeah.
And it might have a knot on it. Mine does. So I'm going to trim that.
Okay. Trim that knot off. I got to get light back up here. And are we putting a needle on it?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and thread on a needle. And so I'm just going to take this edge warp here. And I'm going to go over the edgemost bead on this side.
Okay.
Because it's the warp strand, so we don't want any of our beads to fall. So if we go over it, and then what I'm doing here is I'm picking up the weft thread. So if you remember, the weft thread is the back pass of beads that you kept over the warps, but in the beads.
Yeah.
And so I'm going under those. And I went under the first 3 there. And the thing I like about doing this method is because we have so many strands here,
Yeah.
we're going to have to pull them all through in this method. We can choose the location where the strands go so they're not all going in the same place.
Gotcha.
So you don't end up with like the first 3 rows being the thickest in the whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this twice for each strand. So I went under 3 or 4. 3 or 4 is fine. And then I went through a few beads in the row that I ended up in after doing that. So here I've gone through 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to pull through that. And then now I'm just going to go through a few beads and trim it. And if it starts getting short on you, you can go through with the eye side. Sometimes it's easier to get an eye side through when your thread's short.
Okay.
And from here, I'm going to go ahead and just burn that off.
Okay.
Burn or trim with some flush cutters, because wildfire for me is like really strong, but a little hard to cut.
Yeah.
So there's 1 down and a few to go.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go ahead and do that a few more times, and I'll keep going until we've got at least a corner where I can demo creating a little loop.
Yeah.
But this is actually cool to show because I don't think I've ever showed the whole process for weaving in. I've always do the trick pull thing.
Yeah. No, this is fantastic.
And so now I've got this warp. So this is the warp that's running that location.
Yep.
So we're going to jump over the second bead. And again, I'm going to pick up weft thread. That's in between those beads. Now let's go for 4 since we did 3 before. And try to get under just the top one. So just like that. Pull that tight. And go through a few beads. I'm just going to do that one more time. And 4 beads down. And then we'll head over that way.
I mean, what a great little card topper, gift top. Like, I just feel like it could also just be a precious little.
Oh, you know what? You could glue
yeah.
it to the front of a gift box.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about all of Eileen Hull's really cool, you know, her die cuts that make, you know, Taj Mahals and
yeah,
you know, all that stuff that she does.
Well, that would be really cool.
Yeah, it just seems, yeah, like I'm just visualizing how beautiful that would be.
And I bet you there's a way that you can make the cords, if you were doing a paper crafting project, you may be able to skip this weaving in part.
Yeah.
Because all you would have to do then is hide them. Like, and even with this as a purse charm, if you didn't want to have a both a back and a front, you could glue some felt on the back and hide your warps that way.
Yeah, I gotta get my burner. Okay.
Oh, and sometimes I just use flush cutters too. I think the burner is just optional.
Okay.
If you like using a burner, I just kind of like it. I think it's quicker than my flush cutting.
Yeah.
But I think they're both equally great ways to do it.
Yeah. You just want to make sure you can see what you're doing so you don't tear up your project.
And this seems like it will take a super long time, but to be honest, it really doesn't take that long.
Yeah. I mean, well, and when you're focused and you're not trying to demo and talk, like it's, you know, it's going to go quick.
And so after you do that second little loopy through, you might want to go through with your eye side just because it's a little tougher to get your needle through. But in addition to that, there's always the trick of short sharps, which I like to use a lot.
Okay.
Those are my go-to when I've let my thread get a little short.
Yeah.
Those are kind of cool to have handy. Because, you know, we all get going with our seed beading projects. If you're like really into the weeds of seed beading.
Yeah.
I know people who cannot live without the short needle because they get themselves in this situation.
Well, exactly. And the jewel loom needle is like amazing, but it is long.
Well, you need it for this because this one,
Yes,
the
because
needles
it
are
goes
on.
across. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So every tool in our toolbox has its
Reason.
role and its day to
We're not
shine.
just collecting stuff, people.
Exactly. That's what I tell my family when they see my craft room. I'm like,
Uh-huh. Like you don't understand. Everything has a purpose.
everything in here is required. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So funny. Okay.
Oops. Here we go. I'm speeding up a little bit. Let me know if you have questions. I'm just going zoop zoop through it.
Yeah, no, do you because yeah, that's cool. So oh, is that Eileen? Is that Eileen?
Is Eileen here? Oh, hi, Eileen.
No, I don't know. It just says EH. I don't know if that's Eileen. I think
Oh.
she's on a cruise somewhere.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. She was live from a cruise doing a jewel loom project with her loom. And I was just busting up. I was like, oh my gosh, so cool. But whoever that is asking what is the best brand of flush cutters. I mean, I like Beadalon's hand tools. I know that there are options out there that range in price. I mean, what's your take?
Neela and I both love Lindstrom, but they're on the pricey side.
Yeah. Like anything out of Germany, especially, like, is always going to be, I don't know where they're from, but like German tools are usually a lot more expensive.
Yeah, the ones that I use are this brand, but I've had these for a decade.
Oh my. Okay, well. Yeah.
And they're going strong.
Good. Okay.
So how are we doing on time? I could keep going, but I have enough real estate to show.
Yeah, I mean, so what do you have next to show?
So next was I was going to create a little miniature loop. And the little loop will be made with, it'll be 2 columns. So you're going to need to place it anywhere on the top row here that has 4 beads coming out, or even the side would work too. It doesn't have to be the top. It could be the side.
Yeah, wherever you think you can demonstrate the best to get the message across, I'm cool with. And I'm sure everybody has, for the most part, understands the concept of weaving back in the warps. So,
all right. Yeah, in that case, I think let's pretend, because you've seen that process. That's, it takes a hot minute, but then once you've got it, all of these go away. And you would need to do the same thing with just this edgemost one. It's a little short, but you'll want to weave, just to make sure I mentioned this one right here, you'll need to independently weave in each side.
Okay.
So like this side will need to get but that's still half the journey, by pulling at least in half of it.
Yeah.
And then anywhere along here or here or here, anywhere you'd like, you can start to make this loop. And that, based on where you place it, can become what you're hoping it will become. Like if you put the loop in the center for here at 20 beads across, you could have an even midpoint. It would be right about there. So that's one place you could put it. You could put it right on the edge, which is what I think I'm going to do. Or maybe even just one over. I think I'm going to do right on the edge. But wherever you place it, that's where it's going to suspend. And so it'll either hang kind of like on the side like that, or right from the center.
Okay.
And I feel like you could even do that over here too, but I think it makes sense on the top. I don't know. The style.
So at this point, I just want everyone to understand that Danielle would continue to weave those top warps back into the body of this beaded piece. But for time, we're just going to go ahead and work on a closure type concept. So
yeah. And so what I'm noticing here is that you're going to be very surprised. I did my weaving from the top to the bottom, which I almost never do, but my long, like, working thread that I have left, it's at the bottom. So I'm just going to need to bring this up to do the next step. But wherever you have your longest strand, bring it to the position where you would like to put your loop. And that can also be a new strand that you weave in if you like. I'm going to go ahead and just get this one out of the way really quick. This is my what would have been the tail when I started looming. So this is the tail of my weft.
Okay.
I'm just going to go ahead and find where on the side it's coming out of. So here on the bead, it's coming out of this side, and my warp is right here. I'm going to jump over the warp and go through the bead. Get myself to like, I don't know, right about there.
I will say the thing I like about weaving the warps back into the body of this piece is that I feel my piece becoming more stable. Like, you know,
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah, because as a purse charm, you might want it to not be as flexible as you may want like a cuff bracelet to be.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like it won't curl that way.
Yeah, no, it's really.
That's brilliant. That's super cool. Yeah, I think that is definitely helping. Mine is getting much stronger too.
Yeah, can you feel that? It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So it's a time-honored way to do this particular thing. I mean, this kind of work is, you know, there's really no machine that can do this, I don't think.
No.
It has to be done by people's hands.
It's not going to have heart.
No. I was just watching a YouTube video about this crochet dress that somebody made. Took 40 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Like you cannot make that on a machine because I guess there's no machines that can do crochet. I did not know that because there's knitting machines, right? But like there's no crochet machines. And so I'm like, hey,
that's really interesting.
Something that AI can't do.
Oh my gosh, right?
Yes.
Yeah, my Portuguese grandma crocheted. I have all of her crochet hooks, her needles. They're all these amazing colors. I'll have to share them.
I would love to see them.
Yeah, I enjoy crocheting and knitting. I'm not, you know, super proficient, but I can pretend. Some people are like super cool. They know how to do it really well.
I think I'm kind of a noob at it. Like I'm sort of okay at doing it, but not.
Yeah.
I still follow other people's patterns. It's not like I'm making my own patterns yet. Although I've done it one time.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
But I had to focus so much on like schooling myself on the, you know, the terminology and the way that they do the shorthand when they do the written patterns.
Yeah.
And since I'm a visual, I learn visually. So for me, I really want to use those charts, like where they write out the shorthand, like diagram of the stitch. But I don't know what they have meaning. Like you have to study it, like what they mean. You can't just wing it. That's where I'm at on that journey. But I've dreamed.
Oh, buggers. So it's really important. I just found a boo-boo.
Oh
no. Probably because my lighting is not light enough right now. Make sure that you're picking up that warp, because if you don't, it's just laying on it. And now I have a ribbon.
Oh no.
You know what I mean?
Which warp did you? I'm having trouble visualizing what happened exactly. But
okay, here. Can you go to my overhead, Joan, real quick? So you see that ribbon right there?
Oh, I see.
So my needle didn't pick up the warp. I literally just was on top of the warp. I wasn't picking up the warp.
Oh, okay.
And so now so it's okay. I'm going to, I'll just fry it with the zapper.
That would probably be okay because you've got moving in.
It's going to have to be. It's going to have to be.
Yeah, I think that's okay to do.
I'll go in the middle and then I'll
zapper. One little thing that I love about it is that, particularly with these threads, I wouldn't trust it to like a closure on a bracelet, for example.
Yeah.
But in something like this, that it does cauterize it, and it does act like a tiny little bit of glue.
I'm gonna leave it until I can like get this under a spotlight to see what the heck happens. But.
Oh, actually, I could share one other little tip or trick about the burner.
Awesome. Okay, you could take me off, Joe.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to show it on yours too, but when you're when you have a burner, if you can, you know how you can touch it right to the thread, but if you have one that gets super, super hot, or even like, I don't know, one of those little candle lighters, if you hover instead of touch, just before, everything starts getting softer and softer and melted. When you finally do the little to zap, it touches the other threads around it.
Yeah, I do that. I usually go in with
Um,
caution.
You've seen the ladies doing the macrame reels where they lighter it and then they take their finger while it's still hot.
I
And
know. Oh my gosh, that's so
but it's
crazy.
kind of the same thing. You're just warming it
Okay.
up. And then when you do that final burn on it, and it's like a little bit of glue, like you had a tiny, tiny bit. So there's always a way. That's my whole thing. Always. All right. So I got my thread where I wanted it. And so I decided my loop is going to be these 4 edge, but you can pick any 4 that you want.
Okay.
And I'm just going to work with my purple seed beads. And you don't need many, just a little handful of them. Pretty good. All right, so I'm going to pick up 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go. You can either do the warp thing or you can actually just go back through the 2 beads. It's up to you. I might do both. I like to kind of lock it in a little bit. So I did go under a little warp there, but that's optional. So through that, and what it's going to do is it's going to pop those beads like that. And then go ahead and just go through those 2 beads. So if you want, you can just pick up 2 beads and go through the 2.
Oh, shoot. Oops. Oh, okay.
Either way is good. I did go under the warp just to kind of make it tight, but that at this point, you don't have to do that. I just have my little goofy things that I do.
Yeah, no, it's good to share all of that because it's helpful for sure.
And so it's looking like that. And to the seed bead nerds, already you're going to say, oh, that's herringbone stitch. So this is actually how to do the cuff thing I was talking about where you just herringbone out the middle. It's going to make a nice strong loop.
Very stinking cool.
And then I just brought my needle up through the first bead. And so now I'm going to pick up 2 more.
Okay.
And for this one, you just want to go through the bead that is next to it. So just through that second bead.
Oh, wow.
Pull that down. And the beads are going to do that. They're going to pop like that. It's single column herringbone. And so now you're just going to come up through these 2. And we only have to do a very short amount of this, so it's not going to take super long.
Yeah, no, I'm super stoked to learn that. You know how I am with all those words.
But basically it's just like, somebody gave it a fancy name, but honestly, it's go back through the bead and loop around.
Okay. Go back through the bead and loop around. I like that. That makes me feel better.
We went through the second one, and now we're just going to come up through the 2 here on the right, or sorry, on the left. This is my left hand. Okay. So and I don't know my left from my right, so please ignore any. Should hear how badly I get made fun of in my family when I give directions in the car. Oh my God.
Family.
Right means left and left means right. So there's our first herringbone stitch.
That's crazy. Okay. So it's almost like a picot, but it's 1 bead more because a picot is usually 3.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. You're just doing 2 every time. So now I'm picking up 2 more here. And I'm only going to go through the second bead here. So just like that. So super easy. And when you pull that, the same thing should happen again. Sometimes I help it a little bit, but it should pop just like that for you. And I'm just going to come up with these 2. So just through those. And what this is going to create is a strong little suspension. And I'm wondering if you can already see how this could become a necklace. It would take a long time, but this is one way you could start a chain if you wanted to.
Yeah, that is like, that's so empowering, Danielle.
Do you like it?
Yeah, that's really empowering for me because I don't, hopefully others too, like just seeing like, oh, okay, I do my basic seed bead pattern and it's super cool and I'm bringing it home. And then I get to learn like this whole other level technique it's like you're marrying off loom and on loom right now. It's like this beautiful thing that's happening.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Right?
I actually think looming is the more advanced techniques. Anybody who could handle looming and doing
Really?
everything we just did, this is a piece of cake compared to that.
That's so funny because I think that when I've just been such an on loomer my whole, my whole life, right? So I get intimidated when it's not on the loom, but I'm watching you and I'm like, man, this is a really great way to empower people to do both.
Oh,
This
it's
is
so
super
easy.
cool. Thank you. Oh my gosh. This is really cool.
I think like for some reason, I think people think like seed beading, off loom seed beading is difficult, but then when they find out how easy it is, they're like, hang on.
Yeah. No,
It's
I'm
like some conspiracy happened to like make people think it was
some conspiracy. That's awesome.
The more I question, you know what I mean?
That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, that's cool. I want to sit. I'm going to do a time stamp on this video so that people can get to the different sections that they want to get to. And I cannot wait to sit with what you're doing. Like, I'm really excited about it.
Oh, I see Karen's backing me up. She's saying, yes, looming is harder than off loom. Seriously.
So Karen says looming is harder for her than off looming. That's so interesting. And,
oh, yeah.
And I'm like, off looming to me is harder because I don't, because it's not what I do all the time. Oh my gosh, girlfriend, tell me about the middle. Is that an opening? No, they're woven together.
Yeah, no, it's just a band, and you can take this out to whatever length you want. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and call that good. And let me tell you how many I've got.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 13 of them. That's over 13. You can test
13 people. Lucky 13 who's playing bingo right now.
This is the best sales day every month for my grandfather at his shop.
What? I love that.
My great grandfather, I should say.
Oh my gosh. And
so I'm going to go ahead and put this quick link on here, and you could use anything, honestly.
Okay, Jen, you're going to blow our minds right now. I can feel it. You're just going to blow our minds.
And so it's just going to hang like that.
Oh, stop it.
And let's fold it over.
No. Girlfriend.
We're just going to connect it to these two.
All right, I must learn this.
It's flat and looks like that.
Wow. That's so cool.
It's going to be strong too.
Yeah, and you're right. This could totally be for the purse, or you get one of the thingies to hang your ornament.
Yeah. Or you could even leave this loop by itself without anything in it and just put one of those Christmas hooks like on it.
A Christmas hook.
Something with a wider. Yeah. The thing we can never find.
Oh my gosh.
And so there's like more than one way to do this next part, but like the easiest way is probably identifying that we're currently exiting out of the bead that I feel like lines up with this one right here, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I'm going to go through that bead in this direction.
Okay.
And I'm going to go all the way through it. So I'm going to go through this bead and the next one. So those two right there. And that should just bring that right down like that. So it's going to be a little open on the side for now, but we'll just go ahead and come up through that bottom bead right there. And just pull that.
Jeez, my mind is so blown right now.
Oh, that's so good. Yay.
So great. I mean, I'm still weaving in my warps, but I'm watching.
I still need to do that too.
Totally tripping out. Wow. And that is correct. That is called a herring.
That's a herringbone, single column herringbone.
Single column herringbone. Okay.
And what I'm doing now is I'm reinforcing that path that I was just showing by just going through them again. So I came up through this bead and then I jumped over and went down through this edge one here.
Okay.
And then now I'm just going to loop through. I'll do it again because I want to make it strong. So I'll go through one more time. So just come up through. And then when you do that, you can come up through more than one bead. And you can make the turn at any place that you'd like. And so if you come up to the third bead, head down through its adjacent third bead. whichever one. And this is kind of already giving you a head start on weaving it into.
Wow.
And so now I'm going to go through this one more time. All right. And so let's go ahead and weave it in. I'm just going to head back this way.
Wow. This is like so far from expectation. Like, I'm so thrilled right now.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah, no, this is
I was
so
worried I didn't I was worried that my idea was too like like it wasn't enough details, like oh, this is pretty,
no,
like,
this is so cool.
yeah.
No, it's so good. You're empowering so many of us right now. I love it.
And all I'm doing now is just weaving in the same way we were doing all the warps, right?
Yeah.
That same old thing that we were doing. It just takes like a long time to do all the 20 of them.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean,
and so I'm going to try to do that burner thing I was talking about.
Okay.
So I know I want it. Let me show you. So I know I want it to, when I burn it, it's going to be making contact as it lays down on top of all those little threads in there. Now I don't want to damage those threads, but I do kind of want to encourage them to bond with the one I'm about to trim. Okay. So I just kind of like fire it up and just hold it kind of close. Let me see if I can move it a little bit. My demoing dexterity is, I usually do it flat on the mat, if you can envision it.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to kind of, before I burn it, I'm just holding it next to it. And then when I burn it, using my fingernail, I'm just going to push it down. I could feel it was a little hot. Now the spot that I burnt, let's see if I can show it to you. It was so well hidden. Well, it's in there somewhere. But it like basically just bolts back into the bead and it just kind of disappears.
Wow. Okay.
I really like that.
I got what you're saying.
Would it be too crazy if we made 2 of these? So make one, take it off the loom, set it aside, make another one just like it, sandwich them together, and connect them on the side like we did the Del Sol pouch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put a little loop on it. Now you've got a little coin purse.
Yeah. No, I was sitting here wrapping it around my finger, trying to figure out how to make it like some really cool hippie chick ring. But I'd have to be, my fingers are so chunky. I'd have to have more space on the sides. But you know how some girls wear those really long.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a tube, because I just keep envisioning this being a tube, sewing the 2 sides together. But it's so, oh gosh, it feels so cool. So I was, so Joan, do you want to bring the 2 of us back up together? So I got everything but my shorties here because I don't have, I'm going to have to look for a short needle. I don't ever. Yeah, I think you have. So let me look for them first. And if I can't find them, I will send out a SOS. Oh, you know what? The short needles that come with the Creative Soul Kit. I have some of those. Okay, cool beans. So I'll do that. But Danielle, I missed the part where you talked about this guy and this guy. What did you say?
So on the very edge, just because of the way we took it off of the loom.
Yeah.
These were the ones that
oh, I think we got to get you back up. Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Can we get her overhead back up so she could show us? Please. Okay.
So when it was on the loom,
yeah,
we cut it free on this side. And then we had a side that also on this side that was cut free. And I was able to pull because of the way that it worked, we were able to pull all of them but this edge one. Does that make sense? So this is actually the edge warp.
Yeah.
That runs along the very side. And it's just a little bit short. Okay. So the best way to weave those in and just keep that in mind, like when you're cutting it off the loom, preserve as much of that length as you can. So cut it back here, gives you as much as you can. Yeah, and again, only cut one side, either the top or the bottom, but just only cut one.
Okay.
And then I flatten the ends to get my needle threaded easier because I'm going to use the one that comes from the Creative Soul kit. So this,
Okay, cool.
it's actually the one I've been using this whole time.
Okay.
They do make shorter ones though. There are shorter ones in the craft store. Like they're often in the embroidery section, but they will work on an 8/0 seed bead.
Okay.
And so this one I'm going to want to go over because it's a warp thread, right? So I'm going to go over a bead.
Okay.
It's super, super short. And so I'm going right to the edge here. I'm probably only going to be able to get it to go one time in this way.
Yeah.
But I have another little trick to show. It's a desperate trick, but it has saved me many a pinch.
Okay.
Do this top and bottom. So I got this one through. Now there's no way I'm going to be able to bend it again like that. So
yeah.
Go ahead and take it off your needle.
Yeah.
And then put your needle where you want that thread to go.
Yeah.
And then just thread it again.
Oh, good. Man, we are like screaming out the tips in this one. I love it. I can't wait to go back and do the timestamps because it's gonna be so fun to like see all of the little beading nuggets that were being shared. So good.
It's funny because this is one of the naughty seed beater tricks. This is the one for when you let your thread get too short. You know, like in seed bead weaving, you get excited and you keep going and you're like, oh.
You're like, oh, okay.
4 inches and you're like, oh no. So this is
good,
the desperate move.
Yeah.
There we go. Sometimes it's tricky to thread it like that, but
yeah,
it's super possible. If you have one of those magnifiers, that's a win. And then of course there's the side trick. So this is so short, but we can go eye side.
And then go back through. That's a great thing too about these being size 8/0s.
Got that where we want it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then just
okay, nice.
And we'll have to do the same thing with that little one.
Okay. All right, good. So you were just basically doing the same thing.
Same thing, but with way less length. You can see the difference there in length we have.
Super game changer on the herringbone. I mean, I don't even know who I am right now. I'm so excited about that. So excited. Let's get us back up here. So thank you. That's so cool. It's like, what I love most about things like this is like you have, how do I say this? I love the building of the collaboration, right? It's like, okay, Robert and I love every year to do a gratitude offer to say thank you, like to really produce a really sweet loom. So, this gets birthed. And then it's like, okay, what is the community? What would they like to see? And then bring in Danielle, and then, okay, that's so cool. It's such a cool seed bead pattern. And then you just whip out the herringbone. And thank you for being so willing to just be fluid, because that's how I am. I don't always like to be like, da, 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 da. Yes, it's good in some situations, but like you came to the table and you're like, we could do this, we could do that. And then these two are kind of the same way. And I love that. And I think the community loves that because they're all saying, woo. And yeah, there's a lot of sharing going on. And so I'm grateful to you. And I'm so grateful that Joan is in the background, like keeping us all dialed in and throwing up tags when people are asking questions. And so she's part of this precious family. And it's so cool. So Zach is saying fantabulous session. Nice. Yes. Danielle is a creative soul for sure. And we're so lucky to, I'm always going to thank the little earring business card thing.
Oh, I know.
That literally brought, it literally changed well, first of all, it made our relationship.
Oh, right? I know. Right? Well, I was stalking you before that. But I'd wanted to meet you for a while. So.
It solidified the
I
stock.
see you on Sam's, and I'm like, Sam.
Yes.
What are you doing?
I know. And I had not met him. And so, we're talking about like years ago when Danielle and I were at the same show. And I had these cute little business cards. And so it's interesting where creativity can start, where relationships can start. And I love that about this community. I feel like we're a very relationship driven group of people, and we love supporting one another and just really, hey, I'm really great at designing and developing looms. Like I'm just going to say that, right? But I'm not always the one to make a pattern. I'm not. And I'm cool with that. Like, girlfriend, you do it, right? Or girlfriend, what? You know how to do? Like, that's what makes it all fantabulous.
There we go.
Yeah, because we each have a strength, and I'm so happy that my looms bring so much joy and inspiration, and so grateful to you. I truly, and I'm not just saying this, like watching you do that herringbone thing, it's like at first, this is how crazy, this is how much I don't know. You were saying that at the beginning of this, the herringbone. I'm like, what kind of cord is that? What is she talking about? It doesn't even dawn on me that it's a stitch. I'm such a goof.
I used to think of it as like a textile weave, like, like the professor's jacket, like, herringbone.
I love that. Yeah. But it's so, thank you for marrying an on loom project to an off loom technique and really empowering all of us to realize that we could do that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. There's lots of places we could go with all kinds of combos like that. So.
Oh, don't even.
You'll go crazy.
I will go crazy, and I'm in. I'm all in for that kind of stuff. I think it's really, really good because it just shows, just teaching and learning something. Like, as long as you're learning, I feel like your brain is happy. When your brain is happy, your body's happy. So yeah. Thank you, Danielle, so much.
Thank you.
I'm so incredibly appreciative for everything that you do. And I know that we're working on the December Creative Soul project, and we've got our colors, and it looks very sexy, by the way, very holiday sexy. If I don't say so, I don't know what she's doing. I just know the colors, and they are very sassy. And so I'm thrilled. I'm real excited about it.
And I think that the colors, they'll go into January and become really good, even Valentine colors. So they're gonna like be good through the seasons here that we have coming up.
Oh, good. Yeah. No, you're so good at that. And I'm so, so grateful to you. So thank you. Enjoy your evening with your babies. Your young, let's say, not middle-aged.
Stopping young men.
Have a great time with your sons.
Bothering to lift his finger because they've got me for that.
And thanks everyone for hopping on and joining us. Again, the Pocket Moon Loom is still available. We're going to keep it up, and same price through the holidays. I'm not going to take that away from you. I love you so much. And whether you get the Pocket Loom or you get the Big Moon Loom, okay, and we're going to make sure that you get the pattern. I'll make sure that Robert includes that. And so, this size is great for the pot holders, for that would be incredible. Like, how are we going to bead across that? I've not tried it, but I've woven. I do the weaving. I do, fibers. So
yeah, we should do a macrame end.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we should do one where the warps become something that you knot together into the V.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Okay, I love it. Thank you. I love that. Woo! I love that. That's so, so good. All right. Thank you everyone for watching. And let's see. Yeah. So Danielle, do you have a Saturday thing going on?
I do. Yeah. I'm actually with Stacy this weekend on Saturday.
Oh my God. I love Stacy. We still haven't connected, but we are talking privately, and hopefully, we'll get a thing going at some point. But so Stacy and Danielle at 2
p.m. Pacific, and we're launching a kit that she designed.
Oh my gosh, stop. Okay, so on your YouTubes
Mhm.
at 2 p.m. on this Saturday, Stacy and you are working on a project and it's with a new kit.
Yep. It's
Okay.
wire wrapping. And
Oh,
she did all the samples. So
oh my
I
gosh.
get to be surprised.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, she's playing with a loom. So
she's loom curious for sure. I think she's
yeah.
gonna be doing some projects.
Oh God, I'm gonna use that. Loom curious. That is so adorable. That is so
You keep
adorable.
showing it, people start, hang on, I can do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You can do that. I know it's funny. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. Okay, so tune in. Make sure you watch Danielle Saturday, and I am working on some recorded videos, how-tos for you that I think are going to be really fabulous. And so every Thursday at 4 p.m., either live or pre-record, and always a how-to with heart. And and sometimes we have delicious guests like Danielle. And we always have Joan. Joan is always here in the background. So we love her, Joni. Anyway, you all have a great evening. I got to go grocery shopping. We'll see you later.